Let's go on a little tour to Valkenswaard, Netherlands. We can zoom in and see TTN sits in a nice industrial area about 60 miles south of Amsterdam, which is only about 60 miles also away from Germany to the east and 60 miles from Belgium to the west. TTN was purchased by the current owner in 1988, but was founded actually in 1982. It sits in a 4,000 square foot building in Valkenswaard, Netherlands, about an hour from Germany, Belgium, and not too far from Denmark. Valkenswaard is home to many companies that support one of the largest employers in the area, Philips Electronics. As we walk in the door, we are immediately greeted with many pad printed items, which we can see here. These machines can use these pads to print on items that are seen and used every day. TTM machinery allows companies to print on many different promotional items, medical devices, cosmetic, aerospace, industrial, toys, automotive, and other markets. Pad printing has been going on for centuries. About 200 years ago in Europe, it was founded to deposit an image reliably onto watch dials. Today, most watch companies, including Seiko and Rolex, still use pad printing to make their dials. Pad printing can be found in just about any application, including a lot of industrial and tooling companies. Here are examples of cliches or printing plates, which we will discuss later. The pad printing machines are broken into four major categories. The first are manual printers, called the HP series. These are offered in a one-color machine on the left and two-color machine on the right. These are shown mounted on a standard pedestal, but most of the time the machines are directly mounted onto a sturdy table. The one-color machine on the left uses a 90mm ink cup to print a maximum image size of 80mm in diameter. We have to remove about 10mm from each ink cup stated size to accommodate for the ring. The pad printer operates by moving the ink cup back and forth on the cliche. The back position picks up the image, and the forward position delivers the image onto the part. These units are perfect for DIY or prototyping or beginners. The two-color machine is the only manual pad printer in the world to operate with one hand. It prints two images at 55mm in diameter using two ink cups that are 65mm in size. Here would be where the part would be, and then the first image is delivered. By squeezing the lever, the second image is delivered onto the part. The universal machines are broken into three separate units. These compete against the lower cost Chinese machines, but are much higher quality. They include touchscreen control panels, I&A Bearings, which is a bearing company from Germany, Festo Pneumatics, a reliable German supplier of air cylinders, a powder-coated housing, minimal joint lines, and anodized aluminum parts. This makes these machines perfect for everything from tagless t-shirt printing to medical part marking. They are offered in 1 and 2 color variants. These machines are operated pneumatically and require 80 psi to operate along with a standard wall outlet plug. Let's watch the next professional video to see more and learn more about the TTN Universal machines.
With pride, we present you our new improved line of pad printing machines, the Universal series. The best got even better. In the Universal series, we have 3 types of machines available. The one-color version. This is a machine with which you can print one color. The machine is standard equipped with an ink cup of 90 millimeters. If you want to print a larger logo, you can easily change this ink cup to a larger one. Larger ink cups are available in the following sizes: 120 millimeters, 134 millimeters, or even a 90 by 190 millimeter oval size for extra large rectangular prints. The 2-color version. With this machine, you can print in 1 or 2 colors with ink cups 90 millimeters. This machine is mainly used for printing smaller products. You can also use the machine to print 2 products at the same time in 1 color. The 2-color version with independent pad cylinders. This machine is practically the same as the standard 2-color machine, but it has additional independent pad cylinders. These independent pad cylinders are used for printing 2-color images on very large products. When you need to print 2 color prints on large substrates, you'll face the problem that the second color will be printed on the wrong spot. This problem is solved when you activate the independent pad cylinder feature. Both of the 2-color machines can also work as a 1-color machine. By removing one of the 2 pads and using a 1-color cliché with 1 ink cup, 90 millimeters. Without rebuilding the machine, you can also install the optional 90 by 190 millimeter ink cup for printing larger images in 1 color. Or, if you change the base plate, you can use the 120 millimeter or 134 millimeter ink cup. There are several options available for the machines, such as a tape cleaning device for cleaning the pads. By pressing the pad on the tape, you can remove dust particles and ink residue from the pad. This keeps the pad clean and improves your printing quality. A foot pedal to start and stop the machine without using your hands. Air blower set for drying the ink on the pad prior to printing. Sometimes the ink is still too wet, which leads to incomplete transfer of the ink onto the substrate. By blowing air against it, the ink will be transferred better onto the substrate. The machines come standard as table models, but optionally we have 3 different pedestals available. Table pedestal standard. Simple base for the ideal working height on your work table, including storage space for your consumables. High pedestal standard, made to provide a stable base for the machine, including a storage space for your consumables. High pedestal professional, specially made with a large product table that is adjustable in height. Practically every type of product will fit on this pedestal. It can be used in combination with a cross table 100 millimeters or 170 millimeters with rotation adjustment for very accurate positioning of the substrates. We can also integrate a cross table with rotation adjustment into the front table. This allows you to position extra large products. The standard product table can be adjusted in height and comes with a cross table. But for more accurate positioning, it can be exchanged with a cross table 100 millimeters with rotation adjustment. Why choose one of the TTN Universal machines? Very easy to operate due to the intuitive touchscreen display. Easy and quick exchange of print jobs. A very flexible system in terms of choosing different ink cup and cliché sizes without converting the machine. Speed up to 1800 prints per hour in one color. Always faster than you handle your substrates. In price-quality ratio, the best machine in its segment. Developed and built in the Netherlands with high-quality parts and built for long and intensive use. Do you want to buy good quality pad printing products and services? Don't wait and contact TTN.
Important to note that the last video simply highlighted all the closed ink cups, but is there an open ink well? Yes, there is. So in the past, open ink wells were very common, but they are very messy and they're very difficult to continue to operate because of the thinner that evaporates. The professional series machines have the ability to incorporate a tape cleaner. They can also store a number of jobs inside the controller. In addition to this, these machines have the ability to be hooked into automation. So if a customer wants to present parts to this machine with a conveyor, index table, rotary, or even robot, the professional line is what we would be using to make that happen. This is a one-color professional series machine. These are mostly not sold as the Universal series has replaced much of the demand for this machine. This one sits on a professional series pedestal. This machine is the two-color professional series pad printer with a larger XY table attached to the professional series pedestal. Again, this isn't sold too often, as the universal two-color machines really took a major portion of this machine's market. This is shown with the optional tape cleaner and a safety door that disconnects. The reason the safety door is in place is so there are no pinch points. In case you are wondering, the universal machine is made with a built-in safety feature. Again, this one shows a tape cleaner built in. We can see as the safety door is opened, it disconnects power and dumps the air from the pneumatic cylinders. Reconnecting it allows the operator to continue using the machine. This is a 4-color professional series pad printer in the final stages of being assembled, which we will see printing in a few seconds. This is sitting on a very large table called the Professional XL. These machines are the ones that we usually modify to print on catheter tubes since the length of the plate is long enough to print transversely. Here we can see the printer printing on a Lego piece in 4 colors. This has an electronic shuttle which indexes to the exact place we program it inside the controller at the top of the machine. Like the 2-color Universal series, this can also print 4 items in 1 color, or 2 items in 2 colors, or 1 item in 4 colors. It can also switch out the ink cups to the 90 by 190 oval ink cups, so you could, in theory, print 2 large format images using the 90 by 190 millimeter ink cup. Notice the registration is perfect. The fourth line of machines is the Servo Innovator line. It's a custom pad printer in design and development. We will see a two-color Servo Innovator pad printer. These are fairly large in footprint. This one is about 150,000 US dollars and houses two different pad printing heads with a rotary table that has 5 fixtures. As the name describes, the machine is a servo-driven machine, meaning there are no pneumatics in this machine. The advantage of this are that pneumatic cylinders are not used and the machine is driven entirely electrically. Precision is increased and money is potentially saved over a long period of time. The real advantage of the custom servo-driven machines are that they have real high volume outputs. This machine, in 2 colors, can print up to 1,500 parts per hour. But if we were to increase the number of heads to 6 colors, it could also remain at 1,500 parts per hour. If we look in the production area, we can see a servo-driven machine that prints in multiple colors that's around 700,000 US dollars. So the competition in the USA is dominated by just a few companies. The closest competitor that we have is Engineered Print Solutions Vermont and Ink Cups, but it will benefit you to see the rest of these companies, which I will highlight here. EPSVT is essentially the same type of company as ours. They are a distributor of an Italian brand called Comac. They are decent machines, but they look like Chinese. They have been in business 30 years and have the ability to customize machines like us, especially for the medical industry with their line of catheter tube printers. This company sells about 30 million US dollars per year and is just sold to a European company. The next competitor is even larger, selling approximately 60 million US dollars a year. They pride themselves on cheap Chinese-made machines and are a marketing genius. They have their machines built in China and brand them Ink Cups. They are a global company having offices in Asia, South America, Europe, and across the USA. They only have 1, 2, and 4 color machines and don't really venture out into the specialized marketplace too often. Some other highlights from this list are Tampo Print, a German machine manufacturer, and Diversified Printing, which sells Kent machines made in China. Every time a pad printer works, it needs a pad, a plate, and ink. These can last more than one job, but these are consumables. Pads are available in different shapes, sizes, and hardness ratings called durometer. They usually last around 100,000 prints and range in price from $30 to $150. Our own brand of ink is made here in the USA. We have a number of different colors that we will be sending you, along with a chart of what works on which substrate. In general, AMP represents a majority of what we sell, but AMGP ink is for glass and metal, while AMPP is for polypropylene. We are also one of just a few authorized distributors of Marabu ink in North America. This is mainly used for medical jobs with its Class 6 medical qualification rating on a few different series of their inks. The ink is made in Germany. Some common questions you will run into are finding which ink will work on which part. I always tell customers to send a part in to us for testing. I will show you what that looks like in a minute. You may hear 1 versus 2 component inks. This simply means one component is just the ink and the thinner, while the 2 component means ink, thinner, and then the hardener is added. The second component being hardener. The best way to sell inks is to sell a machine. However, ink is made up of pigment and binder. Our inks have higher opacity, which means companies don't have to hit their items multiple times to build up the opacity on the mark itself. If they're doing that, that translates into a higher throughput and reduction of ink usage. Our inks are stocked in Austin, Texas for same-day shipping on anything in stock. This is a part that was pad printed with our AMGP ink. We tried to scratch it after several days of it being printed on. Here we see the ink wearing away, which means a different series or pre-treatment is needed. The next thing we need to discuss is plates. These come in water wash, alcohol wash, laser, steel, ceramic. I will let you pause this video to take notes. All of these plates will need to be quoted at the time of the customer requesting them, as they vary substantially with size, quality, and quantity purchased. The best way to price these is note the size, type, usually defined by color and what type, and the quantity used. We can get them a quote quickly. We can also make cliches for companies if that is what they want. Let's take a look at how I started selling and what I searched. Here's a live view of how I am finding leads. Let's just go to Google and type in plastics molding company, and we're going to put Cleveland, Ohio. Bear with me as we're doing this real time. This is Jayco Products. I see injection molding, but I don't see a note of any decorating. But here I see some pad printed parts. They might be able to use a machine. I would call them. Next is Leeward Plastics. I'm clicking through their site to see if they note any pad printing, or even the words decoration. I don't see anything, so I would probably note to call them too. Then I see a link to all plastic molding manufacturers in Ohio. I'm going to click on the Automation Plastics. I would click on Assembly because decoration is normally there and I don't see any pad printing. So I would note this company and probably call them too because I don't see any decorating at all. Now I'm going to click on a company called Carlisle Plastics. Notice I am clicking on Our Services. What I'm looking for here is secondary operations. I immediately see a pad printed keyring, but I don't actually see pad printed listed here. So I would probably call them as well. They might be farming this out. Let's click on SEMA Plastics. I would call them because they note decorating capabilities, so maybe they are using a pad printer, but maybe they aren't. Next is a company called Daimling Gelho. If we click through here, we're going to notice the capabilities that they have. And if we move down here, oh look, there's 8 machines. They have 8 pad printers. I would call them for even supplies. We can quote them pads, plates, and ink, or maybe they have a problem we can solve for them. Maybe they're wanting to replace one, or add one, or replace all 8 of their machines. This is their contact information. When I call a company like this, I ask for the production manager, or someone who's in charge of printing or decorating. Let's go to ThomasNet This is a great resource. Here you can find a lot of plastic injection molders, medical companies, and a lot of other companies like this. Anything basically industrial is in the Thomasnet. You can search by state or city. For fun, let's type in pad printing machinery. There it is. Looks like we're one of the top ones. Here are some other companies that use pad printers that you could search under. So here's some catheter tube manufacturers, but here's some catheter tube printers. These companies would use Class 6 medical ink or medically insertable ink. They would certainly use plates, pads, and they'd be open for discussion. Here's medical catheter tube manufacturers. These companies would use a catheter tube printer. Those printers usually start in the $50,000 to $100,000 range. So there's countless opportunities here. We really appreciate you reading and watching these videos. And if you have any other questions, let us know. In the meantime, here's some companies that use pad printing. It's an overall guide that you could use to go out and impact the marketplace. If you have any questions, we're here to help. Your success is our success. Thanks so much.